Cancer, how are you this evening? My name is Sherilyn, and I'm here to do your weekly tarot reading. This one is going to be for Monday, June 9th through Thursday, June 12th, okay? And that's the whole deal. We're just going to pull cards and see what we got. I'll be back on Wednesday with bonus readings to get you through your weekend. We're just going to see where your energy's at this week, or if there's something Spirit wants to bring up that we need to talk about, okay? All right, there we go. This one's for my Cancers. Well, good cards. Cancers, Cancers, Cancers. All right. Okay, let's see what we get. We're starting this off with the Ten of Swords. There you go. Sorry, to the Hangman. Okay. And then the Five of Pentacles. Alrighty, that's your recent past or your backstory. Currently, I have you with the Nine of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Nine of Wands. In the near future, I'm looking at the Queen of Swords, the Chariot, and the Six of Cups. All right, bottom of the deck for this reading is actually the Six of Pentacles. So the undercurrent to this entire reading has something to do with reciprocity, or the lack thereof, okay? That is the fiber holding this particular reading together. The card at the center of your read is actually the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords speaks of conflict and somebody that has let their ego take over. So it's somebody who's in a win at all costs kind of a state of mind, right? Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, they just don't intend to lose, is what it's all about. Okay, so we'll see how these two play in. I'm not sure how they play in yet, but those are the cards we got there. Let's start this off with the recent past and see what our backstory is. So you've got the Ten of Swords, the Hangman, and the Five of Pentacles. Rough recent past, that's for sure, okay? So break them down. The Ten of Swords is all about a betrayal of some sort, okay? The Hangman is all about you feeling quite stuck. And the Five of Pentacles here is all about you feeling abandoned or left out in the cold or ostracized from some sort of a group of some sort. Okay. Let's see. So it would seem you feel betrayed by the person who's left you out in the cold. And I feel like it's possibly a group. So maybe you were part of a group of some sort. Feels like a group dynamic here. And you felt like that was your people, right? You were with your people. But in the end, they betrayed you and left you out in the cold. And for some reason, you're feeling quite stuck in that, meaning that you're feeling quite stuck in that part where you're abandoned and left out in the cold. I'm not sure what that's about, but you're definitely feeling stuck there, or you were in the recent past. You couldn't get out of this feeling of being abandoned and that you've been betrayed, which you had. So there you go. That was the recent past. So we can't change that, even though I'm sure we'd like to. It does not look like a good situation, but it's already in the past. So however it worked out is affecting the rest of the reading, but what's done is done, right? Okay. Where are we at now? Currently, I have you Nine of Cups, Five of Swords, Nine of Wands. So it would tell me that you currently have gotten your footing enough that you have focused and figured out what it is that you want as your wish fulfillment. You've zeroed in on what you want, okay? With the Five of Swords, there is some sort of conflict here about you getting to this wish fulfillment. With the Nine of Wands, the conflict, I feel like, is with the conflict. You're wounded already. You're wounded from whatever happened up top here, okay? So you made it through a battle, you're wounded. You've zeroed in on what your wish fulfillment is, but there's some sort of conflict here. I'm not sure who you're conflicted with. Are you just conflicted inside? No. You have an actual conflict going on, it feels like, with somebody. Somebody who helped wound you and doesn't want you to get to this wish fulfillment, possibly. Somebody who's almost trying to hold you down, it looks like. With the reciprocity over here on the side, it feels like somebody's trying to get reciprocity. What I mean by that is it's almost like somebody's trying to get vengeance or get revenge. Somebody feels as though you were not giving them reciprocity, and now they're trying to make sure that you feel that in return. That's what I've got here. Feels like. Okay, what do I got in the near future? I have the Queen of Swords, the Chariot, and the Six of Cups. Well, what's happening with this whole situation is you are definitely coming out of this as the Queen of Swords right now. Male or female, doesn't matter. You're standing in your feminine, but you've definitely got your sword drawn. You are very defensive towards whoever caused you the pain in the past. With the Chariot, you're trying desperately to move forward. However, the forward motion looks like it's towards the past. With the Six of Cups, it's like you're trying to make forward motion towards something you have history with, okay? But there's something from your past that's trying to prohibit that from happening. Actively. They're actively trying to stop you from getting to where you want to go. Okay, what do we got behind these? Six of Pentacles. Now I've got the Nine of Pentacles and then the Page of Wands. So you're desperately trying to stand in your independence to try to get to where it is you want to be, right? But with this Page of Wands, it's like you don't have a very realistic plan for how to get to what you want. You need a more realistic, grounded plan to accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish. Yours is like based in fantasy. It's not based in reality. You have to have a more realistic grasp on a plan that will actually get you to where you want to be. Okay. What do I got? Got the Three of Cups. I've got the Devil. And then I've got the Seven of Pentacles. Well, the Three of Cups is speaking of a celebration. Next to the Devil, it could mean there's too much celebration or too much trying to not deal with the reality of all this. With the Seven of Pentacles, you're still wavering on where you want to invest and how much. Can also mean that there's some sort of a sense of insecurity here that's stopping you. There could also be an addiction at play. I got to do days of the week, just a second. Wheel of Fortune, Five of Cups, and the Magician. No matter how much regret and loss you're feeling about this situation from the past, this happening was the Wheel of Fortune spinning in your favor. And it's because that was not the direction you were supposed to be going in, it looks like. But somebody is manifesting for you to stay in this pain. Somebody you've hurt in the past. And it's going to be up to you to break that cycle, is what I've got. Okay, let me see. Days of the week. I've got Monday, the High Priestess, and the Page of Cups. Here again, this is you being unrealistic. You're not being grounded in your plan making or whatever. But the High Priestess, you're trying to act in secret, but it's pointless because you're not being grounded in the way that you're making the plans, is what it's saying. Tuesday, I've got the Emperor and the Three of Swords. Yeah, there's a lot of heartbreak here. You're trying to take your power back out of a situation that's very heartbreaking for you, but you're lacking the realistic side. I don't know. It's all based in a fantasy. Wednesday, I've got the Moon and the Four of Swords. You need to rest right now, and you're not seeing things clearly. You think you are, but you're not. You're not seeing what's going on clearly for some reason. Okay, Thursday, I've got the Hierophant and the Star. This is you still holding on to hope and faith in some sort of a higher level of commitment that you've made to something or someone. You've got to get grounded so you can look at this more realistically is what's lacking here. I'm not saying your plan is bad. I'm not saying it's not just, but the problem is you don't have a solid plan to get there, okay? That is what it's all about. And whatever the plan is, it's got to be based in independence because it looks like to be codependent would cause it to implode immediately. Because you're just not seeing the factors clearly, is what I've got. Sorry, that's what I got for you this week, Cancer. It looks like you've got the strength. You've already gotten through this, basically. But for some reason, you're hanging on to it. I'm not sure why. It's because you're not seeing it clearly. That's why. Okay? All right. Well, there you go. I'll be back on Wednesday with the bonus readings. If anybody's looking for a private reading, just send me a message and I'll get you the details. I will never, I repeat, never solicit you for a reading by sending a message. I would love to hear from you. Just love to hear from you. Love to get a message saying that you want to find out about getting a reading, and I will gladly send you the information. But if somebody sends you a message saying something else, that's not me. I only have one account. I don't have a backup account. I got somebody out there right now using my picture to try to get readings. Please don't get scammed, okay? And go have a great week.